look at your meeting minutes and review them, please.
As always, they are very well written, so I would move to approve the minutes for January 7th, 2026.
Thank you, Cindy.
I'll second.
Thank you, Brad. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried there. Let's move down to unfinished business. Chief Whitaker, 2025 Annual Police Report.
Yes, in accordance with Warsaw City Code 74-55, the police department compiled annual traffic report for 2025. We presented this report, we'll present this report at the Traffic Commission and scheduled to be presented at the Board of Works, upcoming Board of Works as well. We have the 2024 stats along with the 2025. There is a note for US 30 traffic, which was attached. So, for an amendment to the 2024, that note, which was provided by our systems administrator, senior systems administrator, documents the reason for the error. And that was for US 30 traffic collisions for 2024.
On the crash statistics, collision data, 2024 was 653 and 2025, 711. That shows a minus 81. Is that math correct?
Where are we at, on page 1?
Yes.
No, we're actually, I've got a couple of minor typos I'm trying to clean up here. It's just
Okay.
last second. So I show, which I made the change previously at that discussion. So the total crashes for 2025, 840. The fatalities were 2. The total number for 2025, under the line of, it's a little misleading because we have property damage, injury, collisions, and then fatalities. Those will be your total for the 840. Then we've added the injuries, which is just the way that this form's been set up, for 173. That total should be 1,013, 1013. The difference of minus 78 in 2024. And then we have the percentages being the same. And the fatalities, there's not a change, there's been no change of the percentage plus or minus. That answer your question?
Yes.
So, as I mentioned, in 2024, the annual traffic report confirmed 101 accidents on US 30. The actual amount in 2024 was 163, so quite the discrepancy. That was due to a system change for accident reporting statewide. And it's on page 3 under the race City Highway, US 30. Highest crash roadway, which obviously is US 30, 2024. She's got a couple of asterisks, which includes C attached. And that's the document I previously mentioned. So what I would add, I guess, ask the board is that I take this back and present the amended copy at the next traffic commission meeting. So this is a clean document.
That acceptable?
Do you think they, like, I don't know if you guys have the data from the last, like, 5 or 6 years, and I'm not asking for it to be put in there or anything, I'm just, do you think we're kind of on track? Do you think as far as the increases and decreases, or is it pretty, things pretty steady the last 5 years or so?
I think it's been very much steady. I mean, they're typically very, very similar numbers.
Because wouldn't be a higher number be better than a lower number for the years? I mean, does that mean more presence and catching more things, more violations?
You talk about violations?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it can contribute to a number of things, right? Traffic enforcement, contribute to amount of traffic on the roadway. So,
The road is pretty much the same on US 30 as it has been. We haven't made any changes in traffic lights, speed limits, or anything else on 30.
no, there's nothing in the last two.
So it is pretty comparable to the previous year. Any other questions?
Thanks, Chief.
All right, again, the only errors that we have is just the counting, just the additions, subtraction errors on page 1. We'll get that cleaned up, and I'll just bring it to the next board meeting and delay it for the board works. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief. All right. Under new business, we were gonna have a review truck route, but Dustin Dillon couldn't make it, so he'll be here next month and help us out with that. Move down to committee and planning updates. Anything new there? Justin, do you have anything?
Yeah, I could just give a brief update on our downtown parking ordinance, and Cindy, feel free to jump in too, but on Monday, the city council approved the downtown parking ordinance, so there'll be some changes to how parking is enforced downtown. We're gonna be rolling that out over the next couple of months, so that I just wanted to, again, get that out there in the public. If there's any questions, feel free to call the planning office and discuss those changes, but really we want to reiterate the reason for these changes was to help modernize our enforcement system. Currently, we're using pencil and paper, so we wanted to, and we're doing a lot of data entry, so that was one of the priorities that we needed to look at. Also increasing turnover for downtown businesses, and just enabling them to have more available parking for their customers. So that those were, again, the main priorities, and then enabling us to better manage the way that the growth of the downtown relates to parking and our ability to enforce parking. look into this and make some changes. So really appreciate the council's support, and as we get into this, there'll be some new things, and we're looking forward to getting everybody up to speed on how that's all gonna work.
I'm just curious on how, will there be signs for every parking spot, or there'll be an area that people would log into the app and assign, put their license plate number in, is that what it is?
So that's a really good question, Lance. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna have signs similar to what we have currently. So there's gonna be a couple signs that will go in place. They're gonna be placed about every quarter block, and those will have the information for the app. Now, somebody parking less than 2 hours, they certainly can go in there. You don't need to download the app. You can text the number that's on the placard. It's a 4-digit number that you can text, and you can pay via text if you're planning on staying longer than 3 hours. Or you could download the app, which streamlines things, makes it a little bit more easy, and you can get reminders when your parking session's gonna be up. So I encourage people that are parking downtown regularly for extended periods of time, the app's gonna be really beneficial, but by no means does everybody have to do that. The other aspect of it is we're gonna have a couple kiosks where somebody could even pay with coins if they chose to. So you don't even need a phone to operate with the system. Not everybody has to start a session, so the council, the mayor's office were very adamant that we want to keep things similar to what people are used to in our downtown as we get started with this. And that first 2-3 hours, you do not have to start a session, initiate anything. You can park your car, get out and do your shopping, or go to your hair appointment, whatever you want to do at that point. And then, but again, if somebody is intending to stay longer than that 2 hours, that's when the different payment methods and the regulated parking would come more into play. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Justin? Any other committee or planning updates? Other matters that may come before the board, I see Christine is here with CABS. She mentioned that we had some questions about one of the locations for the deviated route system. Does anybody have something they'd like to ask or mention about the route system for Christine?
Sorry, yeah, I just came, I wanted to follow up, I had read the, notes from last month's meeting, so I just wanted to make sure, CAPS is really open and responsive to the community's best interest, what's best for the city and the patrons, and, so I wanted to see if there's any other questions or follow-up. I know that stop there on 15 in Anchorage continues to be one of our less desirable stops, and we are looking at some alternatives for that, maybe moving it up along Anchorage. But right now, I understand there's going to be some construction coming up along Anchorage, which is prohibited our timeline for that. So we're kind of waiting to hear some timeframes for that, and then we'll revisit that stop. But like I said, I just wanted to follow up and make sure any questions were answered.
Anybody have any questions for Christine?
Mine's the same as it was last month. I just think that if anything, if it's gonna be along 15, then it would be better to be north of that intersection than where it's currently located at, because it's right at the right turn, and there's a heavy flow that makes a right turn northbound turning east. So that was my biggest concern with that.
I think that would be a relatively easy switch to do. Working with the city, you'd have to reach out to Dustin. I know they installed the signs, but that's really minor adjustment. I think something that would be really reasonable for us to look into. I'll definitely follow up on that.
And there was just a, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sure you're gonna say the same thing I was.
Yeah, my biggest concern, just because the whole busing and all that, is that the stop has to be to where somebody is accessible to getting there, and not walking on the side of the road, because then we're all vulnerable for what's happening. So that's like, and then, like, I was the one that brought up the issue about where I saw, the stop, and like, you can go right there pass it right now there and the stop, right come out of Warsaw on the right-hand side at, over by the Pizza Hut. The stop you have there, they have nowhere to stand, because it's sidewalk, it's snowed over, so that's just mine.
Yeah, we are working with MACOG on an ADA accessibility plan. That's a requirement with these types of routes. Long-term, the goal would be to make sure all of these stops are 100% accessible, sidewalks, all of that. But that's a long-term plan.
Right.
Rolling out the route, this is really a starting point, and knowing that we have work to do to get it to where we really want it to be. The snow was something that, honestly, a lot of our stops, we ran into some barriers, and we are working through some things with that as well. We don't have the manpower to go out and shovel each of our stops, so there are things that we're working through as they come up for sure with the snow and different things that maybe you should have thought of before, but we get that big storm in November, and it's like, oh wow, now our stops are under 3 feet of snow. But absolutely, the ADA and the accessibility is a huge point moving forward, and making plans towards making the route as accessible and as safe as possible.
And I imagine you'll find out a lot more this summer, but you don't have to deal with snow, of course.
Right, there'll be other issues. We're learning
I'm
as
sure.
we go. It's been fun, and it's been great, so we're really glad to be able to offer this.
How,
service.
and the routes have been going well so far? You've had some attendance?
Yeah, we have some regular riders, and we see some new faces, so it's been really great, and we're excited for the warmer weather to get back out, and I think people will be more willing to jump on the bus to the snow. Nobody likes to stand in the cold, and I don't blame them, so. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Christine, appreciate it. Any other matters that might come before the board?
Just, my question going back to the minutes from the last meeting, we talked about the Jimmy Jones situation, and I did have some fellow come and talk to me about that this week, and he was concerned about the line of sight there.
I believe Dustin was going to look into that, so maybe we'll find out more next month. I talked to him briefly, but not about that. Anything else?
Mike has something.
Mike?
Mike Fonderas, just a couple of observations I want to bring to your attention. I know they're trivial. Try to be your eyes and ears out there on occasion. I've noticed I don't use US 30 West too often, but I do use US 30 on the east side of town quite a bit. And I've noticed that there are some truck lane markers that seem to be ignored by trucks. It's a congested area when you're coming into town from the east, and I don't know if you have any say-so on where those signs are placed, but it seems to me that they could be pushed east a little more to give the truckers a little more time to react, to get over before they get into that congested area. And then once they are in that truck lane, I have noticed, and maybe it's just my timing, but I have noticed a little more enforcement out there. Are you guys kind of, okay,
Very much so.
thank you. But I don't know that I've ever seen a truck pulled over for using the passing lane, but it just creates congestion and frustration, at least for me. So I just wanted to point that out. The other thing is, just want to know if there's any progress on the same old problem at Pope and South Detroit Street. I just bring that to your attention, and I don't need an answer, but I'm going to keep.
Yeah, since
Down on the
Dustin
desk.
is not here, I think he would be the best one to give us an answer to that, so maybe next month.
You guys do a great job. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Now, you were talking about US 30, and I'm trying to see where your sign was that you're talking about. Is this eastbound or westbound before you get?
Westbound on the east side of town, so coming into town from Fort Wayne. And I think the first, going from memory here, the first indication is, I don't think it's as far east as the gas station. It might be a little closer to town, do you know?
It's further east of the gas station. It's
Is it, okay, but it seems like,
Signs on both sides of the road.
They're marked on both sides.
yeah, it seems like if it were pushed out another half mile or mile, it would give the truckers a little reaction time to position themselves to maybe get over. The problem is staying over. They come up to those lights, there's a truck stop there, they don't wanna have to stop too, so they pull over in the passing lane, and now you got two trucks at a red light, and, the light turns, and, you know, they both start at the same speed, and they just keep going, well, cars can't get past them, and it creates more congestion and frustration.
So I can speak on this for a minute. I can't say anything about the placement, because I believe that's done by the state, so I don't know if we have any say-so in that whatsoever.
We might have an influence, but.
So those are placed by the state. As far as enforcement goes, I can tell you that really on a daily basis, we're enforcing that truck lane specifically out there. We've got guys writing tickets, they're writing warnings too, but they're writing warnings depending on the circumstances. There are sometimes where it's a shorter span and a guy might make a warning citation for that, or a warning ticket. We have a lot of guys writing citations for it. Chief Whitaker has authorized us to have guys out there for overtime, so guys are coming in on their off time, so on a day off, and they're putting anywhere between 2 to 4 hours of enforcement out there specifically on US 30, also on State Road 15, but I would say our priority number 1 is US 30, our priority number 2 is Detroit Street. We've also asked for the state police to assist us, so you'll notice that there's been state police out there. They are doing the same type of enforcement. They're also doing commercial motor vehicle enforcement. I've pushed our regular duty officers when they're not busy, when they're not taking calls, that they need to prioritize putting time on US 30. So hopefully this is a daily complaint that we get. We constantly get complaints about the semis. We recognize it. It's a frustration for us as well. I'll tell you, we have done wolf pack type enforcement out there, and as soon as you go take a break, go get coffee or go use the restroom, they're right back out in the left lane. It is a constant issue. And, you know, citizens get frustrated because an officer may be out there, he may have wrote 4 citations, and he goes to take a restroom break, and then there's somebody out in the left lane that somebody calls in, and they're upset that we're not doing our job. So I can assure you that this is a priority that we have at the police department, for that enforcement, for that very reason. We feel the very same frustrations. And this even goes to, even not an emergency call, but if an officer is using US 30, trying to get to a call, we get the same issue. We get that backup from the trucks that get stuck there. And then the people get upset because they want those people stopped, but the officer's trying to get to a call.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I assure you that this is.
Well, I believe you, and I appreciate your efforts, I really, really do appreciate it. And I know that this is a low priority, I realize that, you have better things to do.
It is a big issue, and we take a lot of complaints about it. So, you know, it's the flow through our city, and it really does. And for people that don't understand, truck traffic has always been heavy through US 30 since I've been around here. It is enormously worse now because of what's happened on the toll road. They've increased, they've made major increases on the toll roads, and so it's forced so much more truck traffic, they don't wanna pay them out there. So then they come down and they fill up US 30, and that's what's
Yeah,
made
I
this
know.
really, really difficult.
Where'd you find it, Joel?
It is right at,
Just before the intersection, first light.
Right around the trailer park. It's right at the trailer park.
yeah.
The old H&H, whatever that is.
Well, I appreciate your efforts, I appreciate what you do, thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Mike.
And kudos on North Detroit Street, because I travel north on there every day, a little after 5 o'clock,
Thanks.
and almost always I see an officer out there.
And I gotta look down and
Yeah,
say,
yeah. I know, my little tire kept coming up and.
Push it on down.
Yeah.
So with that, in this report, citation statistics, would that be infraction UTT and warning traffic? Do you have
Yes.
those numbers with you?
Yeah, I don't know that we have exactly. We could pull that stuff, I'm sure. That would be an easy thing to pull for left lane restrictions. thing, and I kinda let it go, I didn't bring it up initially, and I apologize, but I do wanna bring it up now. When you look at infraction UTT for 2024 and 2025, for speed specifically, you're gonna see, a real significant change in the enforcement numbers there. I wanna point one thing out. In 2023 and 2024, especially 2024, the state was offering a grant where we were basically doing a wolf pack type enforcement. We had a small amount for 2023, they gave us a lot more money in 2024. And what that was is we had officers, we actually had a stationary officer running a laser in a fixed position. And then we had multiple vehicles or officers that were off the side of the road, and then we were just calling those speeds out. And I think we were picking 15 over, and if you got picked, you were getting a ticket. We wrote a ton of citations through that grant. 2025, they didn't offer that grant anymore. So that's, when you look at that, I just wanna make sure people understand, like, my goodness, they quit writing tickets. That wasn't the case. We just wrote so many tickets through that grant work, because we would have 7 or 8 officers working maybe a 4-hour stint, and all of those officers within that period of time were writing close to maybe a dozen tickets. So we really nailed it during that period of time, and that grant work just isn't offered now. So I just wanna make sure that, I would say, if we would've looked at that without the grant work, we probably would've been around that same position of numbers in 2024. We were just able to write so many more because of it. So I wanna bring it to your attention.
Well, that stands to reason too, and people talk about going through Warsaw and US 30, and the officers are out there, so. I hear it all the time, I know.
I do too.
All right. Any other matters that might come before the board? Doing all right at school? Tracy, we're in school. We're in school. Terry, anything you'd like to add with the downtown?
Just excited about the new parking guidelines and enforcement coming.
Cindy, you're part of that too?
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys working on it. All right. Next meeting's March 4th. We gonna be back here then, or City Hall, you think?
Likely at City Hall, but it's fluid. Local media is being patient with us. Boards like the Traffic Commission being patient. We appreciate it. We'll know more as we get near the end of the month, and then we'll make that announcement. So I would say next meeting at City Hall, but again, things can change during a massive HVAC project, yeah.
Understand. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Cindy. You have a second? Thank you, Mark. All in favor? Say aye. All right. Motion carried. We'll see you next month at City Hall.